Hi everyone, in this week 11 video we're going to talk about the sample Dreamweaver site, the Dreamweaver interface, and how to manage sites in DW. Before we even begin, let's take a look at where you can find the content in Slate. Go to your content browser in Slate, scroll until you find the week 11 folder. In the week 11 folder you'll find the worksheet, Define My Restaurant, which is due at the start of class on week 12. The sample team contract, which is due at the start of class as well on week 12. Modified, printed, and signed by all team members, both worksheets individually are worth 3% with a cumulative 6% to your final grade. The salt and pepper folder that you're looking for, which is your sample site, can be found here. Double-click to open the file and download it. If this download button doesn't work for you in Slate, go ahead and try this download button. And just like every Adobe product, you cannot open a file that's already been zipped. You need to unzip the folder and copy the content somewhere on your computer. I've already done this step, and you can see here that I have the salt and pepper folder already unzipped and located on my desktop. If I double click, I can access the salt and pepper folder and its contents. Right here you'll notice that in the Assets subfolder, I have all of the images that are located in my website and that are linked within these HTML pages. I also have a CSS document, you'll notice here where it says Cascading Style Sheets, and it's called Snooker. This particular folder is basically what I want to start with in Dreamweaver. At this point you've had a chance to work on the worksheet Define My Restaurant. Questions 1 to 7 are your priority, and at this point you need a restaurant name. So right here I'm going to right-click, rename, and I'm going to rename this the name of my new restaurant. My new restaurant is going to be Devil's Fork. You'll notice that I renamed this document with no caps and no spaces and no special characters. Make sure that when you rename your file that you absolutely have no spaces, no caps, and no special characters. Now I'm ready to define my new restaurant website in Dreamweaver. Before we do that, I want to talk about the two Dreamweaver versions that are available to students today. Depending on when you downloaded Dreamweaver CC, your Dreamweaver version may look different than this one. If it looks like this one, it's probably because you downloaded it at the beginning of the semester. For those who downloaded later in the semester, we'll have a different, newer version of the software. There will also be students in this class that are running Dreamweaver CS6. It also looks similar to what I'm seeing right now on my screen. The versions are different enough that it's worthwhile running my demonstrations both with Dreamweaver CC, the early version, and Dreamweaver CC, the present version, because not everybody will have the ability to upgrade. If you want to check to see if you have the ability to upgrade, go up here to the Help menu and click on Updates. Here's the most recent version of Dreamweaver CC. In this version, you'll notice that recent files, Create, New, and Learn are separated into 3 subsections, but there are a lot more visuals to be used. The biggest difference, though, between this version and the previous versions is that only in this Dreamweaver CC version can you edit in live mode. That is a significant change, a hugely beneficial upgrade to the software. It's worth upgrading if you're able to. Once again, the upgrade will be located under the Help drop-down menu and right up here where it says Updates. If it's grayed out, unfortunately, you won't be able to update at this time. Now, the next step that I'd like to do is to define my website. Right up here at the top right-hand corner of your panels, locate the panel called Files. If you're not able to locate Files, you can find this panel by going to the Windows drop-down menu and locate Files. I know that I already have it selected because I have a check mark there. If you don't, you can click on Files, a floating panel will show up in your desktop, and then you drag and drop it here. You can also go to the Compact drop-down menu and reset Compact. That will also bring the Files and Insert menus at the very top. For those of you who don't have a Compact drop-down menu, you may have an option to select Designer, and then verify that you have Insert, Files, and CSS Designer. If you don't, once again, you can find them in the Windows drop-down menu. If you click on the Files panel, you'll locate a word link here where it says Manage Sites. This is what I want to go to next. Not everybody is going to see Manage Sites here. You may locate it over here in the drop-down menu where it says Manage Sites at the bottom. When you click on Manage Sites from the drop-down menu, you'll get this Manage Sites dialog box. Here you can define a new site. The reason why defining a new site is really important, this is the way that Dreamweaver understands your website. Here you're going to tell Dreamweaver that the folder that was previously called Salt and Pepper is your root folder. Without defining your site, none of your HTML pages will work together as a site. They'll just be individual HTML pages unlinked. All of your images, which are currently linked to that folder, the asset subfolder, without defining your site, will be blank. They'll be broken links because your documents are all internally linked to that asset subfolder. So let's go ahead and do that. In this case, I want to name my site here, and I want to name it the name of my new restaurant. In this particular dialog box, I'm allowed to use spaces and I'm allowed to use caps. But it's always good to avoid special characters. So here I'm going to go ahead and type in Devil's Fork for my site. Go ahead and put the name of your restaurant, your new restaurant, in this particular dialog box. Over here where it says Local Site Folder, I'm going to click on the folder and navigate and browse to find the folder that I recently renamed to Devil's Fork. Double click. You'll see it up here at the top dialog box, and then select Select Folder. This tells Dreamweaver where my local site folder, in other words my root folder, where it can be found on my computer. The next step is to go over here on the left-hand side to Advanced Settings. When I click on Advanced Settings and anything right over here on the right-hand side, these allow me to set up my site from a web hosting perspective. Over here under Advanced Settings, I will find Local Info. Local Info tells Dreamweaver where I can find my default images folder. That was the subfolder called Assets within that Salt and Pepper file. I want to tell Dreamweaver that any linked images can be found in that folder and where to find that folder. My site is quite simple. I only have one Assets folder, so it's going to be really simple to locate. Double click on Browse for Folder, click on Assets one time, and then click on Select Folder. If your default image folder has the last word Assets, you know that you've done it correctly. Go ahead and click Save, and then click Done. You'll notice over here on the right-hand side, I have all of the folders within my documents. I have my Assets, I have About.htm, Index.htm, Menu.htm, and my Cascading Style Sheet document. I'm going to review those steps using the older version of Dreamweaver CC. Let's review our panels once again. Here I have a compact version. I can go ahead and reset compact. If you don't have compact, you can select the design view. Over here you should have Insert, Files, and CSS Designer. If you don't see Insert, Files, and CSS Designer, you can go over here to the Windows panel, make sure that you have them checked off. When you click on them, they'll become floating panels which you can drag and drop into the side view over here. The next step I want to do is I want to go ahead and manage my sites. If you don't see Manage Sites here next to Desktop, you can click on this drop-down menu here, and once again you'll find it at the bottom of the list. The Manage Sites dialog box opens, and now what I can do is I can define my new site. This is exactly what I did in the newer version of Dreamweaver CC. So if you're wondering what I'm doing right now, I'm just repeating all the same steps one more time on the previous version of Dreamweaver CC. Here I'm going to name my site my new restaurant name. I'm going to tell it where to locate my root folder, so local site folder. Click on your folder, locate the folder that you've just renamed. And don't click on Assets. You want to make sure that Devil's Fork is right up here at the top and click Select Folder. Once again, I want to click on the down caret next to Advanced Settings. To expand this, I want to click on Local Info. I want to define for Dreamweaver where my image folder is. So I'm going to click Default Image Folder. I'm going to browse for the Asset subfolder. Just click one time, don't double click, and click Select Folder. I'll know that I did this correctly once again if I put my cursor and if I scroll right to the end and I see the words Assets. I'm ready to click Save, and now I'm ready to click Done. Before I do, you'll notice that the name of my defined site is right here, Devil's Fork. I'm just going to click Done. In the next video, we're going to explore this new sample website.